One of Hunter Biden's former business partners is testifying behind closed doors to the Republican-led House Oversight Committee. Devon Archer ignored reporters' questions as he arrived on Capitol Hill today, as you're seeing on those images. His appearance comes as House Republicans ramp up their investigations into Hunter Biden and whether President Joe Biden had any involvement in his son's business dealings. We're going to bring in CBS News senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge. Catherine, please talk to us about who Devon Archer is and what are lawmakers looking to learn from him.
Well, good to be with you, Lilia. Devon Archer is a longtime business partner of Hunter Biden. They've known each other for years, if not decades. Devon Archer is really the ultimate insider here. He sat on the board of this Ukraine energy firm, Burisma, along with Hunter Biden, and he's credited with bringing Hunter Biden onto that board. So Republican lawmakers want to know the data points associated with Burisma and how, in their view, it may lead to an enrichment of the Biden family. It's also important to note that Devon Archer separately was convicted of securities fraud in 2018. He has consistently said he was innocent, though he will be sentenced to prison probably sometime later this year.
I mean, there's so many questions that I'm sure they're asking him today, starting with why Hunter Biden would have been hired in the first place. What have you learned about what's happening in that testimony?
Well, I want to just go to my notes here just to be as accurate as possible. So a source familiar with his testimony has told CBS News that Archer has testified the value of adding Hunter Biden to this Ukraine energy board was the adding of the brand. And according to the source, Archer said the brand was Joe Biden. In addition, according to this source, in his testimony, Archer has said that Hunter Biden put then Vice President Joe Biden on speakerphone during business meetings. And according to the testimony, this was an effort to sell the brand. The counterpoint has come from Democrat Dan Goldman, who has been in that testimony. He has told reporters that the witness has shown no direct connection between Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and these business deals. He concedes that Hunter Biden did put his dad on speakerphone, but the witness testified that these were casual conversations, not actually about the business deals. All of these questions will be answered probably in the next couple of weeks when a full transcript is released. But for now, Lilia, we have to rely on two very different versions of this event.
Yeah. I want to move on to the other case that Hunter Biden was expected to have a plea deal, and that fell apart last week. You were there. You've been reporting on it. What's the latest?
Well, the federal judge has given both the prosecution and defense, Lilia, 30 days to answer her questions and to come up with some new language for a plea agreement. I just want to emphasize that what held up the deal last week is the judge took one look at it and said, this is not a standard agreement. These are not standard terms. And once she started pulling that thread, what she found out is that the two parties are not on the same page as to whether this plea agreement fully shields Hunter Biden from any potential criminal charges in the future. If there was a moment where the deal really collapsed, it's when the judge, Mary Ellen Noreika, said to one of the prosecutors, just tell me what the precedent is for this element of the deal. And he said that there was none. Based on the line of questioning and what I saw in that courtroom, it may be difficult to bridge this gap between the two parties on the deal, and it may be an even higher threshold to cross to get the judge's approval in this case.
And Catherine, if you don't mind, just because we were talking about two issues, there's the Burisma and then there's the taxes. What is this other case that we're awaiting on a deal for? What is that one about?
So this plea agreement, just to refresh, is about tax charges and also what they call a gun offense, a felony gun offense. In this case, someone who was using drugs and came into possession of a handgun. So the plea deal is relatively narrow in terms of its scope. The discussion on Capitol Hill today in this closed-door transcribed interview is about the business practices of Hunter Biden leading up to April of 2016.
All right. Catherine Herridge, thank you.
You're welcome.